All right, what's up, guys? So I just got finished up with my trading session for the day to end this week out. It's been a really good week. Had 3 trades total, all winning trades. So for me, I love taking 3 trades per week. That's like most ideal. It saves my mental capital. The less I trade, the less emotional I am about every trade I take. So if I can do that, that's the best situation. 3 to 5 trades a week. So anyways, guys, as you can see on this trade today, I ended up making around $300 in 20 of my PA Apex accounts. So in total, ended up making around $6,000 profit on the day. So far this week, I'm probably up around $1,000 on each of my accounts. So really good week for me. Definitely helps make up for some of the losses I took the past 2 weeks. Last week was really slow. The week before that, there was like 2 or 3 losses and no winners. And then the first week of April before that was a really good week. So I'm up on the month really nice. So I'm happy with this. We still have 3 more trading days left of the month going into next week. So we'll see how that plays out to really close this month out. But anyways, as you can see, let's go over the trade I took this morning. So ended up having to wait a long time for this, around 3 hours or so from market open. So as we can see, let me just zoom out to kind of show you the bigger perspective. Obviously, this whole week we're trending up, right? We started in Monday, and we're constantly making higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, right? We had a nice uptrend all week long, and that's kind of what we're going into. Then we definitely had some resistance coming into today, which we knew would be tough to get over. We got over it in pre-market, and then we started selling off towards market open, right? So now let's go into the 5-minute time frame and actually look what happened here. So first things first is we got our 15-minute opening range. So this red line and this green line is the first 15 minutes of price action on the New York session. For those that don't know, I trade opening range retests, right? So I'm waiting for one of these sides to break, and I'm trading the retest on there. So as you can see, we had a pretty tight range, not a super big range. And this is on ES, by the way. As you can see, we faked out on one side, we went back up, then we faked out on another side, went back up, and then we finally got a nice retest here. And this is the trade I actually took up to yesterday's highs. So how do I avoid these fake outs? Well, I use confirmations to make sure that I don't get faked out. Obviously, I will get faked out sometimes, right? But I was able to avoid these 2 fake outs today. So luckily the OTS indicator, this is my indicator I created, was able to avoid those fake outs. As you can see, the only signals we got today was this buy right here and this buy as well. Okay. Now, the reason why we didn't get any signals down here was because, as you can see, we broke through, right? We retested, but we never got colored candles, right? So these retests were didn't have enough volatility in them for us to get a signal. We need a certain threshold of volatility for us to get a signal. So if there's no colored bars on the retest, we're not going to get a signal, right? So no signal. Okay, we come back up. All right, cool. We avoided a loss. Great. Come back to the top side, right? Just continue waiting, continue waiting. Okay, we broke the range again, right? What happens? We come down, come back up, and we never got any sellers coming back in, right? We got some colored candles. So if we would have sold off here, we would have potentially got a signal, but as you can see, sellers never stepped back in, right? And then we chopped around more. This right here, we broke through, and we got a signal before we got a retest. The reason being is this is very rare this happens, but sometimes we'll get a volatility spike when price is going up, when usually the volatility spike will happen when we have a pullback. That's why a signal did go off here. Again, we have no way of fixing that into our code, but it doesn't happen often. And usually when it does happen, the trade ends up working out anyways. So these kind of signals where we don't have a retest, but we still get the buy signal, it's up to you if you want to take it. I personally don't like taking them as much. I like taking the retest. But this trade, I'm not sure if this would have worked too well because it just depends where you put your stop loss on this one. That's why I don't like taking these. They're still good signals. I don't know where to put my stop loss. I mean, the real answer would be probably put it where below the biggest candle. So like if we look at all these Heikin-Ashi candles, we got a bunch of small candles, bunch of small candle, and then we start getting some big body candles. I'd probably put it below this big body candle. So if you did that, that would have worked. Obviously, again, that is hindsight. We got another little retest here. As you can see, we didn't get enough volatility on that pullback. We end up coming up again, and this is where the real setup actually happened, right? If you know how the code works, as you can see, we got a pullback, we got the volatility coming in, okay? So when this happens, this tells me that, you know, sellers are stepping in, or they're just trying to get liquidity for more buy side to push it up, right? And you don't really know which situation it's going to be. Are there big sellers stepping in right here? Or is this just a liquidity sweep so they can get a bunch of contracts to go long and push the price higher, right? So to me, this is liquidity sweep because we broke this last low, okay? We broke this last low, and then what happens, right? As soon as we broke that last low, we immediately get bought back up, and look at this next candle, okay? This little white candle right here, right? And we see this is represented by this gray bar. The volatility immediately drops, okay? So they got all their liquidity right here, meaning the market makers, the bigger buyers, they got in. They had limit orders sitting here, right? Just waiting to get filled. They aggressively bought in, and then once it went back up, right, they're like, okay, we're in the position. We're going to defend this level. So this is why I put my stop loss always below the pullback low, right, where they actually enter the position because they're going to defend this. Okay, and then once we see buyers step back in and we get a close above this candle, this is where I enter my position right at around 530 on ES. And I rode this up to a 1.5 risk reward, which perfectly aligned with yesterday's highs. Okay, this red line is yesterday's highs. So that's me kind of breaking down and explaining how the signals work. Obviously, you know, if you want to do this blind, you know, you can literally just close your eyes and wait for a signal and, you know, press enter when a signal appears and always put your stop below the pullback low and a take profit of a 1.5 risk reward. Right, you can do that, but I think it's helpful for you guys to know how the signals actually work. So that is why we got a signal there and we didn't get it anywhere else, and we're able to not avoid all this chop. Part of your strategy should be, does it avoid chop, right? And a lot of people don't think about that. They're just focused on, how can I have a winning strategy? How can I have a winning strategy? How can I have a strategy that trades every day, that has a high win rate, right? Again, a big part of the strategy is keeping you out of the market, all right? You won't hear a lot of people say that, but a big part of your strategy is keeping yourself out of the market, which is why we use the confirmations that we do. So anyways, guys, that was it for me today. That's how I ended up making this $6,000 in profit. Hope you guys enjoyed this recap video. If you guys aren't already inside our free trading community, I want to invite you to join our Discord group. We have an awesome trading floor in here. And I also post my trading plan, my levels on ES and NASDAQ every single day inside of this channel as well. So if you guys want to join this Discord, like I said, it's completely free to join. All you have to do is go to the first link in the description below this video. That being said, guys, I hope you guys have a great weekend. I will see you Monday morning inside our Discord group for another week of trading.